Okay. Thank you. I see somebody has joined us already. Say hello. I see two people joined already. Yes. Okay. Welcome. Say hello so that my guest and I can know who is here. You all know I like to dance. You know. We must find how music must enter somewhere.
Oh, that's what it is.
Oh, we have comments here. Hello. Oh, you didn't give. Hello. Hello. Okay, hello everyone. I can see here. Okay, all the Facebook users. It's such a pity I can't see your name. Okay, Olatunbosun Kolawole. Is that okay? Thank you for joining us, Mr. Olatunbosun. It's such a great pleasure to have your wife here today. We are so honored. So thank you for joining us. Okay, hello. I love your hair. Is it mine or my guest? Okay, I give it to my guest. It might be my guest. I love her hair too. She's always looking elegant. Always looking elegant. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
So without wasting any second, because it is such a privilege to have my guest in today, I want to I'll let her introduce herself, but how I met her is on a personal note. She has been a friend for, we're just calculating it now, about 13 years. We met
Yeah,
when we were
13
doing our,
years.
yes, youth service years. That was when we met. We met through a mutual friend who is a great, wonderful person. She's one of the admins of this member. She's known as T Mode, but we know her as Tayo. And I've known Tayo
Yeah.
for donkey years. So we met through a wonderful mutual friend, and she has also been a great person since I met her. And talking about children's mental health, and knowing that she owns a school, um, I just thought she will be a right person to bring on board to answer some questions and to let us discuss how school setting or how what are teachers doing and the impact of school on children's mental health. And thankfully she was able to accommodate hours in our schedule to be
Oh,
here today.
please.
So welcome, Fehintola. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Please introduce yourself to our
Thank
guest.
you. Thank you very much. My name is Fehintola Olatunbosun. Like you said, we've been friends for a while now. I run a school in Akwa Ibom State, and I've been working with children for a number of years now. I'm married to Dr. Kalawole Olatunbosun. Accidentally, is on this live show. So I'm excited to be here, really, and to share my experience so far with working with children.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
So you're most welcome. You're most welcome. So now, as an educator, putting you, we'll just say it as an educator and me being on the clinical side here, I want to know what does children's mental health mean to you?
Okay, without trying to make it complex, for me, children's mental health is basically just their well-being, their emotions, behavior, character, attitude, everything that involves growing up, for them reaching developmental and emotional milestones. Everything that concerns children and their growth has to do with their mental health.
Good. I'm glad
So
you
I don't know,
drew.
can I go on?
Yeah, go on. If you want to say more about it.
All right. So, I'd like to just take three things. Number one, children, from my perspective in a school, children are little humans. They have their feelings, they have the desires, will, they have what they like, because people naturally, take things over children's head. They don't consider them as humans who make decisions on their own. So for me, I think knowing that children are to be treated almost like an adult. Number one. Secondly, children are like blank sheets, and it is whatever you put there that they give back to you. Teaching about values, morals, things like that. You need to take time to put it in there. They don't just wake up Sunday and they know what they're expected to do. So when you have that mindset, you put conscious effort into trying to guide them to do the right thing. And lastly, children don't just change. They don't just have character change. You've had to work with a number of children for a year, for a few years. You know how a particular children behaves, and then 2-3 years into the relationship, you notice suddenly this child wake up and start misbehaving, doing some things. Definitely, there's something going on there. Your first reaction shouldn't be like trying to put the child down, shout down on the child. You need to get to the root of the matter. So for me today, I just want to state it that these are the things you should consider when you're thinking of their mental health. They have their intentions, they have things they love doing, and you should always give that to them. And also, you should put conscious effort into guiding them so that they can give you back what you want them to be.
You're right. You're right. And something it's like something is echoing. I'm not sure if it's on my end or your end.
Oh, it's not clear.
No, no, I can just hear myself back. But anyway, so all right. So you made excellent points. In fact, you went deeper than what I was expecting, and you gave us some nuggets already. This is a tip of the iceberg for today. Um, yeah. So saying it simply to mental health of the children, like you said, they are mini human beings. They are human beings as well, just in the small size. So that means children have feelings. So that means children also have their own thoughts. And it also means that they behave in certain ways, either based on their thoughts or feelings or some other things going on, in their body. For some children might have just neurodevelopmental disorders and they're not able to catch up or process some things. But these three things that we talk about for adults, feelings, behaviors, and thoughts, the same thing happens for children. And um, the two places they are most of the time are at home, are in school. So
Yeah.
with all that you've said, now can you tell me, being someone running a school, how do you cater to the psychological needs of children in a school environment?
Okay. A school environment, first of all, should be a solace to children. Should be a place they look forward to coming. That being established, our teachers are trained daily to ensure we maintain a serene environment, a warm environment for children. Now, talking about teachers, these are the people working with children. They need to be also in a good mental state. You don't give what you don't have. So we
That's
focus
a
on their
very,
health.
very important point you made. And I'm glad you raised that point
That's true.
even at this point. Please go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, we try, to train the teachers to know what to do, to be okay. And of course, we cancel from time to time. We try to make the school environment very conducive also for teachers. We want them to look forward to coming to work and also to working with children. Now, working with children, the first and important thing I tell anybody is You need to have a big heart. You need to love them genuinely. Do you know how difficult it is to even love somebody else's child? You know, how much more, I mean, your own child, sometimes they do some things, you're upset, you want to smack them, and now another child is coming and behaving. You get, so you need to first of all put love in place. Love them, and then be their friend. A child will always warm up to you and open up to you if that child feels safe and thinks, oh, this teacher is my friend. One of the things we do rote learning, of course, rhyme in Montessori, we use Montessori approach in school. So we do a lot of rote learning, rhymes, activities, and all. So when we have any of those activities, teachers are expected, to be at the level of the children. You're singing a poem, you're rolling on the floor with them. That way they see you as a friend. They want to come to school. They look forward to seeing you as their teacher. Oh, I want to see my teacher today, because you are open to them. Then also conversation. Do you know we take children for granted a lot? I don't know why. Let me give you a classic example. We had a program recently, and we were working with the children. We came out, everybody were shy in the garden trying to start. And when I came out, I noticed they were packed together. And I'm like, COVID-19 protocol, we need to, space out. And the moment I said that, teachers started moving the children like that. I said, no way, you don't treat people like this. First of all, what you do is you address them. Hello, beautiful children. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to spread out. So over time, we should learn that we should always talk. The conversation is very important. If you want to punish a child also, or correct a child, of course, we correct children from time to time when they behave badly. But we tell you why you are being punished or corrected for something. So conversation is key when it comes to psychology. Sometimes when you talk to a child, you are trying to scold a child. The moment you sit that child down and you told him, oh, remember what you did the other time, and I warned you that you should not do this again. And this, because you're doing this again, I'm going to correct you right now. Sometimes some of them don't cry because they know, and you hear, I did something very bad. My child comes out to school, something, I did something very bad today, and my teacher, told me to go to the naughty corner. So conversation is key when you're working with children. Key. Also, building confidence in them. How do you do that? You engage them in activities, role playing. Some of the things we do at Primecare schools. We have pupil of the week. They are going to be the ones responsible for some duties in class that for the week. We take turns in prayers. You are going to lead prayer from time to time. You come to address other people. Over time, you are confident. You can talk to any adult. You can engage adults intelligently. So, talking about child psychology, you also need to put that as a factor. Oh, I'm trying to work with children. I'm trying to help their self-esteem, things like that.
But
Can I go on? I don't want to.
yeah. So I was going to ask you. This is not typical in every school. So let's broaden the scope a little bit to what is happening. You and I, we both, grew up in the same kind of. We didn't go to Montessori schools, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but we were trained in that same environment. Thankfully, maybe things are getting better, but no, it's not even every child, or it's not all parents that can afford to put their children in a place where we have all this kind of things. But from the broader scope, how do you think that teachers, because, and that's why I said I'm glad you raised that point. And Dr. Kola Ole here also added, said, you cannot take care of children without taking care of those that take care of the children, the teachers. Very
Correct.
salient. And now, thinking about that, for mental health and psychology generally, do you think teachers need more training on the psychological impact of things, the psychological impact of things happening in school on children, or maybe how to even identify when something is going on with the child and they come to school with it. Should they be trained?
I yes, I think teachers should be constantly trained. Like our school now, we do trainings every Friday. Children, teachers need to understand children. You cannot, okay, let me give you an example. There's a child in your class who probably is not doing well enough, and you cannot be in the classroom and you're talking down on the child. Some teachers try to do that, and over time, because of the trainings and all, Jasmine is very good. But Roland still struggles with. Roland is seated there. How do you think this child is going to process this information? So we try not to talk down on them. We try not to talk about them in their presence, especially if it comes to matters. One classic example also is there's this pressure that comes from parents from time to time. Oh, how come my child is this? How come my child is not writing yet? Pressure left, right, and teachers are trained to let a parent know, oh, children have different developmental milestones. Some of them will never do some things until they get to a certain age. 2-year-old, 3-year-old. For me, 3-year-old, that's when their fine and gross motor skills is developing. And over time, this child can start, spooning, activities like that, writing. But you go to school, a child is 2 years old, and you are putting pressure. How come my child has been in school for 6 months? This child cannot write number one. So a teacher is trained to know all this and to know how to address the parents. Oh, ma'am, you will need to be patient. Some of them, you see some 2 years old do some things that a 3-year-old cannot do. So it varies. Their developmental milestones vary. We don't pressure them. Some even right up to 4 years, they might not be writing. But I tell parents, if this child is not writing, this child does other things, can engage you intelligently, can recite their rhymes, can give back their definitions. So you cannot judge a child just by writing or one particular thing. So those are the things that we teach teachers, and of course
Yeah.
we now channel our energy into how to help that child build their fine motor skills, gross motor skills to achieve certain, a particular to achieve writing or whatever you set, the goals you set for them.
The goals are, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's narrow down a little bit to mental health issues. A child is in school, it's just being unhappy, or a child is in school finding it difficult to stay focused in school, or a child is in school and just seem to be afraid all the time, or you just notice there's some things going on. Tell me what, I mean, first, have you experienced such in your school setting?
Definitely,
And two, can
definitely.
you tell me do you what are the processes you have in place to talk to the parents, and how do parents receive this kind of information when you tell them?
Of course, not everyone, not every parent gives full disclosure. We have parents like that who comes forward to tell you, oh, my child is slow. I noticed from birth, this is what happened. We've had a few parents who actually opened up to us. Somebody, I remember a parent told, oh, my child has one kidney. Please, I want you to help the child not to get engaged in tedious activities. Another one, sometimes back, mentioned how they discovered the child is obsessed. The child is very active and wants to, like, play ball, do this, but we try because we are informed. So I sometimes tell parents, you need to give full disclosure so that we can work together. And I'm still coming to that. You need to collaborate with the school. We are both in it together. So there are cases like that where we realize a child is struggling with one thing or the other. First of all, we try to approach the parents. We try to make them understand you cannot pressure this child. I said something on my post. Your child's mental health is far more important than any grade. any unhealthy competition because your other friends' children are doing this, doing that. How come? Just settle it in your mind. My child will do whatever he's supposed to do at their pace. So we try to tackle it from talk to parents one-on-one. These are the things. Okay, for a child who is struggling with one thing or the other, the last time we had somebody with a level of autism, we try to find out the other things that interest this child. When it comes to music, dancing, doing a drama, she wants to always come forward. Of course, academically, she's struggling. So what we do, we make sure we engage her more in things that this child likes. A child that does not have flair for something, if it is math, whatever, what is the interest of this other child? You play to their strength, you get. So we've had instances like that where issues like that will come up, but we try. And of course, we do not, for the child involved too, you don't make it obvious that, oh, you're not doing well. We do individualized teaching. If you are in a class of maybe 4-year-olds, you are supposed to be doing a certain number, numeracy, whatever you're supposed to, and you're not meeting up to, we are going to step down a bit for you particularly. So what you do in class will be slightly different from what others, we are giving homework, if other people are writing 300 to 400, for example, numbers now, we are going to step it down to your level. Oh, you can only do 1 to 50. And then we try to add effort. We try to work with parents. We tell them what to get and put up in the house and
So
things like that. So it happens.
do you? So what? You don't have instances of maybe a child being suddenly withdrawing and not playing with other children like he or she used to play,
I have a
or
long list
you
of that.
notice the grades just start going down. This has been a good student, but now the grades are falling. When things like that
Yeah,
happen, what do you do? Or other than reporting, do parents usually take anything like that serious? Well, do they take it
some
seriously or not?
some parents do, while other parents are going to be like, what are you doing to my child in school? How come this child is doing this? Blah blah blah. So it can go both ways. But we've had many situations like that. Let me start with my son. I remember when he was 6 year old, he's always bubbly in class, very active, very outspoken. And over time, within that period of time, he was so withdrawn. He snaps at his, classmates in class. And the teacher was so concerned. What is going on? Something is wrong. Of course, when you see a child behave that way, your first instinct might be, what's that? Don't you know it is wrong? Blah, blah, blah. You want to but I called him, I sat him down, I spoke to him, and I'm like, what is the problem? And he just, started crying. I'm like, I don't know. And he said, I don't know if daddy will ever is coming back because around that time the dad was transferred out of town. You know, I'm talking about a 5 going to 6 year old. And he just started crying. I'm like, is daddy coming back? I don't know if he will ever come back to us. And all. And I had to talk to him and encourage him. I'm here with you. The dad calls every time. So things like that can affect a child in school. I mentioned in the beginning of this show, I said that any change you notice in your child that has not been there before, there's a stressor, there's something causing it. Another instance, a child who is always so withdrawn, so sad, when everybody's playing and running around, she's just there. And we try to bring her out of her shell. We try to play with, engage her more, do things, do this, do that. And she's just not opening up. And over time, we now had to try to dig in. How does this child, of course, we invite the parent. And thankfully, the mother was very, open to us.
Coming.
Oh, that she has noticed it too. This is what. To cut the long story short, we realized that someone was actually touching that child at home, sexual abuse. And she had to open up, oh, our house help, this is what she does. she tries to do this and she threatens me that I cannot tell my mommy this. So there will always be issues like that. Lastly, let me give one more example. There's another one like that who became very aggressive all of a sudden, fighting in class, doing this again. So it is very important to always look at what, I mean, try to find out what is actually causing it, as to, oh, how the child is behaving. That child is not the problem, really. Something is causing it. And at the end of the day, the parents were having issues at home, fighting every day. It was affecting the child mentally. So definitely that child comes back to school, not looking forward to work, bored, I mean, or upset and angry for nothing. So it's really a big deal.
I mean, you made very important points. And yes, so I think this is a good time for me to just highlight some things on the mental health perspective. So the behavior, like I always said, behavior, even for us as adults, sometimes you will notice you're just not, you're just like, oh, I'm just not in the mood today. Well, you're just not in the mood today. If you really think about it, there probably something happened. Maybe you heard the news. Maybe you read something when you woke up. When you woke up, you took your phone. You read a news that really that you didn't like, or maybe someone spoke to you some in a way that you're not happy. But there's always a trigger or a stressor somewhere. The same for children. And
Okay.
now, children do have mental disorders. A child can be depressed. A child can have anxiety. A child can have attention and hyperactivity disorder. A child can have
Mm-hmm.
traits of conduct disorder. We typically don't like diagnosing any child, anybody with bipolar disorder until like 18 years old because their still personality is still
Oh,
forming, different things are still going on. So that is usually late. But anxiety, depression, attention deficit, conduct disorder, even some other ones that I just don't want to mention because people will have questions that I cannot answer. And I just don't want to throw them out there so that people don't, I don't want to give information that people will just go with without really understanding it. But let's just stick with these three with attention, depression, anxiety, and ADHD. You see, the depression part, there are even children that do go ahead to take their own lives. People think that when we talk about suicide,
hmm.
it is something that it's only adults that do it. Children do it as well. Read go on Google, go search for it, and you're going to see children, and you will see the pattern. Like, is like, maybe somebody told me in school, I didn't know that was happening, or the child even sometimes will tell the parents, but parents will think that, what do you know? Or maybe because this just happened and they ignore it. And they do this as like, how can it happen? Sometimes they use their bunker, I mean,
Hmm.
the they use it. Sometimes they use the fan. Sometimes they use a toy. I've read so many stories.
Wow.
So these are some of the things that can happen to children. A lot of times, with anxiety, some of them can have nightmares. Some of them will be bedwetting beyond the time they're supposed to bedwet. Some of them can start regressing because something is
Hmm.
going on. All those things should not be ignored. I mean, you can see them, somebody that is maybe 10 or so can start sucking or can start, you will just start noticing changes. And then the one with the school academics, things changing is very common. Then when they start
Yeah.
withdrawing from their friends or they start wanting to mingle with some kind of friends that are raising red flag, we should not ignore these things as parents. So now, some of the triggers of mental health issues, it doesn't have to be a disorder. It might just be like an adjustment issue for a.
Exactly.
Some of these things are, let's start with home. Sometimes, the parents might not be having a good relationship with themselves. Sometimes they might be
Exactly.
having parents might be having financial struggles that is affecting maybe what they are eating at home, maybe what they used to be able to have access to, they don't have it anymore. Maybe things are just not the way it used to be again in the house, and the kids are wondering what is going on, and they start
Going
getting
on.
really afraid. So that is one. That's another one. Another common one is when there's a major loss in the family. It might not even
Mm,
be a parent, it might be a grandparent, it might be an uncle, it might be something. But when there's a loss, because children don't really understand the concept of death yet, so it is one of those things that can really be troubling for children. But hey, when we're talking about it, like you said, how many times did you say, "Oh, uncle, this happened to this uncle. Let's see what are the things we're going to plan." We just inform them. They just see that we're planning stuff. They see that we're buying clothes, and the day has come. Everybody's going. We go. We come back. Nobody is taking time to explain what is going on to them. So that's
mm-hmm.
another trigger or stressor that can affect a child's mental health. Now, with the parents, another big major one for a lot of children is when the parents have to separate. Even something as small as a parent traveling for a long time, like in the case you shared with us, your own example, it is destabilizing for children, particularly when they're not told, when they're not explained to, this is what
Mm-hmm.
is happening, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
doing this and coming back. Oh, why? But why do you have to go? Because recently the same thing happened, and they're like every time, like, when is it coming back? When is it come back? So I made it a point that thankfully, we can do video calls now and stuff, but for some children, they don't
Exactly.
have that. So separation of parents or divorce, when they have to divorce, when the two parents have to actually leave, most times children think that it is their fault. They think that it is their fault. They think that things were probably going well before they came into the picture, and now something is happening to dad and mom. They're not together again. They don't like it. And beyond that, sometimes the children are forced to be in the custody of a parent that they are not fond of, or when they're in the custody of the parent they're fond of, they even miss the other parent, and they don't like it. I recently had a client. She goes to one parent every weekend. She will go to this parent this
Mm,
weekend. She'll be with the other parent the next weekend. She doesn't like. She was telling me, "Well, I prefer it when I'm at my dad's place than my mom's place." But why? Well, because my mom's place, I don't really have my space. If I should go out before I come back, my step sister or something goes into my room and stuff like that. So this kind of things affect children. Another one is relocation. When kids relocate and they have to change
mm.
friends, they have to
Leave
change where
their friends.
they have to change school, they have to just meet, they have to now get used to a different way of doing things. It's not always easy for children. And other ones that are beyond their control, like, when something tragic happens, like robbery or an accident on the way. I remember even our
Post-traumatic.
T mode. Tayo will tell you she's still finding it difficult to sleep well all night. She says it because there was a time they had, there was a
Mm-hmm.
wiring issue or something, and she was woken up. So every night, she feels that she's it's almost like at that time that it happened, she wakes up and it keeps affecting her sleep. So yes, sleep is another thing that parents should watch out for. Sleep pattern is one thing that parents need to uh, be paying attention to,
Yes.
when it's less or when it's too much than what it used to be. So when things that are beyond our control like that happens, tragic events, accident, robbery, something, an assault, even something as simple as someone embarrassing someone's parent, at a child's parents in their presence. Like, I remember a child that tells me she can remember how our aunts treated their mom when they were homeless and had to live with them. She could remember everything, and she feels really bad. She doesn't like the auntie, and it's part of the things that affect her till
In
today.
affect.
Yes. So children who live in war zone, children who are homeless, children who grew up in places other than with their parents for any reasons. I'm highlighting all those things so that we know that there are so many things that can happen to children, and even if they're masking it at home, they might not be able, because that's the environment, they really can't change it. They're a child there, and if they don't have parents watching out or paying attention, or parents that are even present, it can be an issue.
Hmm.
But in school, there are manifestations that teachers will see, and things that, those that are working with them in school can notice and they will see. And that's,
Yes.
why we have that. We're thankful. I'm thankful that I have someone like you, running a school, and I'm hoping that you will be able to, I mean, at least you're setting the space, and I'm sure other school owners or proprietresses or proprietors are
Mhm.
doing. I hope they are putting more effort into this as well. But um if you have a message for parents today, what would it be?
It will be that your children will become what you are, so be what you want them to be, rather than they do what you do, rather than what you say.
Okay, that's a powerful one. So you're telling me now that all the bad side of me, my children.
Yes, you can be shouting and doing all that. Of course, they are watching.
Okay, I need to change. Okay, I'm listening. Go
So
ahead.
that's
That
basically it.
okay.
Then, beneath every behavior, like I stressed earlier, there's always a feeling, and beneath each feeling, there's a need. When we meet that need, rather than focusing on the behavior, we need to begin to deal with the cause, not the symptoms. Anything you see your child do and change, whatever it is, try to focus on what is causing it. Why is this child doing this? Definitely there's something. By the time you dig deeper, you realize it's not the child's fault. Something is going on. So we should just
Okay.
give more attention to
Okay,
our
I have
children.
something to say on parents' behalf now. So you can't tell me now that schools too can they're not responsible for some things. Now, example, bullying. A lot of bullying, let me not say a lot, bullying goes on in school. I know that I mean, here, there's this little guy that started this body bench thing. I don't know if you know about body bench. A body bench is a bench that they have in a school. They just paint it, it's there. If you don't have a friend, or you don't have anybody to talk to, or you just don't have any people are not playing with you or something, you go sit on a body bench. And if anybody sees you on that body bench, someone will come and sit with you to say, hey, I'm here. So because they know that they know that if you're sitting on that chair, it means you don't have a friend. As a body bench, I'm even telling my son that he should make it a project and do it in his school. The body bench is one good idea. So bullying, let's talk about bullying, like children that are being rude to other kids, like to do things like this. How do you handle such? And you have two children here involved, the person bullying and the one that is being bullied. So how do you deal with both, typically with parents and even with these children?
I'd like to say, when it comes to that matter, of course, school is very responsible, ensuring that they are well behaved. But I want to say that it's a 50-50 thing. There should always be a collaboration. We try to, try to correct children, notice they have that tendency of bullying another child. We try to invite the parent, talk to them, correct the child in whatever way, give restrictions. Sometimes when you behave badly, you don't go for break. Of course, when I mean correct, we don't cane. We don't use cane on anybody's child. You
You don't
know,
do
our
corporal
responsibility,
punishment.
80% of our responsibility is definitely educational. But more importantly, we try to engage the parent too. You have noticed that this child does this in the house, probably maybe beat other siblings, do that child is not just going to suddenly change. If we make our own effort, which we do, we also need a corresponding action from home as well. So there are children like that who we've noticed may have that tendency of bullying. In fact, I don't know if I should say this openly, but we've had to like withdraw a parent, I mean, give them back their school fees, and we're like, okay, take your child. What happened? You're always breathing down our necks, telling us we cannot tell your child to do this. A child is behaving, doing all sorts of things. And you'll be like, no, 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 I'm paying fees. You cannot tell my child to face the wall. You cannot do this. I'm like, okay, God forbid that we're going to have a school where we're afraid to correct children and try to teach them what they're supposed to do. And we were just, after a while, we had to like invite the parents. I'm like, okay, for this reason and this reason, and we would not, because you know our school policies, we don't encourage bad behavior. And believe me, a child doesn't just wake up at 18-year-old and start bullying. It starts from early. And once you pick it, you get down to the child's level, try to talk to them. Of course, not every time, you don't have to beat a child every time. Some of them is just conversation. You tell them why it is wrong to do this. And I know that you're a good person. And before you know it, that child starts thinking about it and can change if you pick it early enough. So I believe, once we work together, we do our part and then you do your part, and we can achieve success together.
Thank you. So one thing this instance you shared, this example, I spoke with another proprietress that told me that when you, well, not all the parents, that some parents, when you call them to tell them, hey, we noticed this, your child is behaving this way, or even in the instance of maybe kind of developmental delay, and you call them to say, hey, this child
Mm-hmm.
has developmental delay, after they've accommodated some things, to put things in place to uh, accommodate the child's, like you said, maybe some children need to go back, maybe they need to go back in their curriculum to help.
Yes.
He said the next thing is the child, the parents would withdraw the child from school and
Yes,
say,
it
hey,
happens. It happens.
it happens. Okay, so, well, maybe they just want to try somewhere, maybe they just want to try somewhere else because you're not putting it in enough effort, or because you're not, doing some things that you need to do. But I also want to share this with you as a school owner, and to everybody listening to me. Um, I'm in the United States, but I grew up in the educational system up to my first degree in Nigeria and representing Africa. Uh, I must say that there's still a lot that our teachers need to know
Yeah.
when it comes to mental health, their mental health, so that they can help our children's mental health. So when the helping our children's mental health part, it comes to productivity at work, because that is their work, right? That's their job. So
Yeah,
being productive
that's
for
true.
them, it will be helping our children. We still have a long way to go. A lot of educators or people in the educational space still have a lot to know about, like signs and, red flags, or prevention, or even communication, when you talk of the things to do to support our children's mental health. And another thing is, when it comes to developmental delay, a lot of things that can be prevented, a lot of interventions that if they have early, if children have,
Yes, that's true.
it will help them academically, it will help them with their emotional development and things. I don't think a lot of educators know this, or they can see it. And another group is the accommodation for children with disabilities. I have a very good friend. She's been on this program before, and I talk about her a lot. Bolatito Fatoki, she works with, she is a special ed teacher. In your school, do you have special ed class?
Yes, we do. We
You
have a
do.
few
Oh, you
too.
get a round of applause from me.
We do.
Good. So that means you have a teacher that will take care of these children and give them that special educational needs for them. Schools that are out there that don't have this, if you know one person or two or so, please consider having it. Please consider putting it in place. And now there's even the movement to try and train teachers because we have so many teachers in the world. We have so many teachers in every country to train teachers with
Mm-hmm.
basic first aid, mental health first aid. If teachers know it, it's going to help a lot in early identification of issues.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we can have early intervention. Early intervention will then help give us a more impactful result if treatment has to be put in place for the child. And then when we have early intervention, early treatment, and we have a better outcome, then we're having better adults and better children.
That's true.
So, let's all think about this as the movement is coming, that teachers are now going to become our mental health first aid people. It doesn't take too much because it's mental health. It's something that is happening to us, happening to children. Once we know what to identify and we have proper referral channel, then it will help. Because, and I'm saying this because there are people that had to, that in school they did not even have a clue that maybe this child have is
Like
on a
something is
spectrum.
going on. Mm.
Yes, until they came here, they did not notice that anything was going on. The family eventually had to relocate so that they can accommodate the child, so that they can find something to do for the child, because in school they were just like, this child is not learning, this child is not learning. And the way the teachers would even say it, this your child, we've been trying this, we've been trying that, this is not helping. So when a parent is hearing there's something wrong with the child all the time, like in the negative way, if you can't help my child, then maybe another school will help. And they resort to either homeschooling or the
Hmm.
result taken to another school. Remember, even change is not that good for children. So when you change them from school A to school B because they're not doing well and they start having other issues, how many times are we going to have to change these children, their school? So the intervention needs to be there so that we can have proper referral. And like you said, we all have to work together. So I'm
Yes.
so happy you have a special ed class, you have a special ed department. It delights my heart. And I would encourage any other school owner to please consider having this so that we can accommodate these children. And I'm sorry I'm putting you on the on the
No,
spot.
it's okay.
So now, you said you have training for your teachers every Friday, which is awesome.
That's true.
My I don't know. Do you incorporate mental health training, either mental health
Well,
target?
well, not actively. I'm not going to say, oh, we do mental health every time, but
No, you
occasionally
incorporate.
we try. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, but from time to time we try to. It's a wide range. We try to take a lot of trainings on specific different things. So that's one thing that we put in place. You mentioned, children having issues like that. Most of our teachers, because they are trained already, when a child walks in, maybe for admission, 1 year plus, 2 years, the teacher can tell that parent if this child is ready, even from the way that child walks. They know they've been trained on, fine motor skills, gross motor skills. A child who is not balanced yet should not be encouraged to start writing. You need to start doing activities that encourage fine development of the fine motor skills and things like that. And like you said, mental health should be widely accepted. I mean, we should see it as something that needs attention. And moving forward, I'm taking something back today. I think it is very important that our teachers knows, the essence, the importance of it. So we move.
We move. I know that I'm echoing somewhere, but anyway, thank you for taking that back. To everyone who is listening, to everyone who is watched, and everybody that, if you know someone that needs to listen to this conversation, please share it with them. It This is what you're doing when you share this with someone. You're impacting the life of someone, even if it's just one person's life or one family's life or a child's future. Because when we have the right information and we're able to put things in place for our children, it is a big deal. So please
Sure.
share this with someone that you know can help. And another thing I would just like to add is, it is not too bad if schools actually start putting programs that would invite teachers. You know how they have the end of the year party thing for
Mm-hmm.
kids to come and celebrate? You can just bring somebody to talk about mental health briefly, because the school is even a place that sometimes parents can have access to this information. You don't
That's
never
true.
know what parents are going through a lot as well. So the economic situation is there. So many things going on that parents have to do, that the only breathing space they even have is when the kids are in school. So having to know about mental health, some parents might even need to go have themselves checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And the school, their children's school, might be the place for them, that might be that place where they would hear it. Just like
True.
church might be the place where some people would listen to mental health. So school, even your child's school, might be a place where you'll hear it. It was at my child's school that I first saw the reality of children trafficking.
Wow.
They just invited us for, it was a project, it was a high school students project that they
Okay.
came to do, and it was in a daycare, my child's daycare. And they said parents who wants to come for this little thing, they will come. We were about 6 parents that came there. I was coming from work. I just went there, I sat down, and they showed us the video of how people are using children for child pornography. They
Wow.
showed us the video of how people are kidnapping and trafficking children. I saw it. I never paid attention to it. And I got this information from my child's daycare.
School. Wow.
What am I saying? If schools also have something, a midterm, a fun way to bring parents together in a relaxed environment, and maybe you tell them tips, maybe you're giving reports of what school is doing, and you put a mental health session, 10 minutes, 5 minutes of this, not even for children, even if it's just for adults, so that it won't be like you're talking about children or something. It's also a good avenue for us to increase mental health awareness. So consider that. As so we have parents, you can reach children, you can reach the teachers.
Yes.
Someone reached out to me sometimes this year, and it was a child that went to the mom and said, "Hey, mom, remember the maybe camp or somewhere we went last summer? They were saying something about ADHD and all the things that they counted or that they highlighted and told us about. I see those things in myself. Do I have this?" It was a child. The child learned it from a camp that he went to. So even children can be left out. You never know where this information can help.
It's true.
And he was the one that actually called the mom's attention to it, and they were like, "Okay, let's look into what's going on." And then we did. And then we talked about it, and with time we're able to make progress from there. So I'm just giving you different ways to increase this awareness for the well-being of our society.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, the stigma needs to go away. It's very tough. I've been at this thing for, stigma is a very tough thing to fight, but I think we're gradually making progress. But if the progress is just going to be one life, one family
Mm-hmm.
at a time, that's what we're going to do instead of not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'll thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all the valuable information you've shared with us and all these experiences that you wouldn't have been able to share if you weren't running a school. Thank you so much. So I
You're
want you to have
welcome.
your last words with our guests, with our viewers before we say goodbye.
I believe we've, said a lot of things. We've heard so many things, and definitely you're taking things back from this show. I am taking a lot back as well. So, nothing much. Just please be mindful of I said your children are little humans. Praise and play to their strength and ability. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm grateful.
I like that. Praise and
And
play to their abilities, right?
yeah,
Thank you. All right, to all our viewers, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for joining us. We hope you've been able to learn one or two things. Okay, if it's just one thing, I'm so excited. So if it's two, I'm over the moon. So all right, I like to end with this. My mental health matters. What about yours? I'll see you next week.